What's up, all my folks out in YouTube land? Daryl, also known as the Finisher. This little project today, doing a screen enclosure replacement. We're going to talk about that a little later. Also, topic of today is how do you make money as a handyman? Just different ways to make money. Because sometimes when you start, you don't really realize everything you have at your disposal. Oh, by the way, this ladder right here, I love them, man. I always buy the Little Giant leveler ladders. They're not a sponsor in me or nothing like that. I just, when it's uneven, you see me, I push that little foot down. Now all of a sudden it's even. It was wobbling before. Now it's perfectly level. So, and I told you the big boy, man, when I get up on them, to do two-story work, I need to make sure everything's level. This one also, I'm not sure what made the builder install these screen enclosures that had to be put in from the outside on the second floor. It's just the strangest thing to me. But got all those taken down all the way around, all the bracing and everything. And yeah, so let me show you a little closer. What's up? I'm at the job site, man. Today I'm working on a screen. Like I said, redoing the screen enclosure. I've already done the demo, so I took all the screen enclosure down. And the thing about this screen enclosure, it's on the second floor. So, but I've already took all the screen enclosure down from the outside, and now I'm doing the new metal enclosure where you can actually change the screen from the inside. So, take you out here, and I'll show you. All right, it's an easy screen room enclosure. It has these railings up. I mean, that's not part of it. That's just part of what the builder did. And it's just a pain because you got to take the railings off to get to the screen. But this enclosure, it's all aluminum, not sponsored by them. It's just the one I use anytime I do one of these. So, yeah, they're not difficult. You just got to have a saw that can cut the metal. This section right here, I'm going to do this one, and I'm just going to, just show you how it's done. In the background, while we go into our topic of the day, which, like I said, was ways to make money as a handyman. When you first get into this, the automatic thought is that, you just put your information out there and you try to get phone calls and try to get direct connections. But there are other ways. Now, direct connection is my favorite. This property right here is an Airbnb, and you have some people who deal with property management companies and some people who just deal directly. So I do property management for a lot of people, but they just deal with me directly. So this unit is owned by the same person as they own this one and the one next door. So whenever they need something, or they just think of something they want to do, they just give me a call. And I had one day where, a nice little day where between both units is 10 toilets. And I just had to change the flush kits in all of them. Oh, that was wonderful. That's one of them days when you call where you hit a lick. You know what I mean? You came up that day. But yeah, direct to consumer, just dealing with the people directly is, of course, the first way. That's the way we all think of. You could deal with realtors, which can be hit or miss. Hey, I mean, if we're being honest, we have realtors who tend to be on the cheap side, and it's not really the realtors, it's the customers, which is, hey, it's totally understandable that if you're selling a house, that you don't want to pump a bunch of money into it. I'm not blaming them. It's just, we're on the other end of that. So we got to make sure that we're fine and we're taken care of. You deal with realtors, you just got to know your numbers and know what you need to watch for, and just don't give away your work for free. Another way is to work for stores. Now, not work directly for them, but it's tough because it's all how they're set up. You could go with working at Lowe's where you're considered a subcontractor in that aspect where they're paying you after the job is done and everything's taken care of, then you get paid. Versus somewhere like Home Depot where your Home Depot serves as the go-between. They're sending you leads essentially, and that's all they're doing. And then after that, you deal with customers direct. Now we're going to go into subcontracting, and there's just a lot of ways to do subcontracting, which sometimes you got to figure out what works best for you. Working directly with customers is not always what's best for everybody. It's what works best for me. But I like to have options, and I like to, provide people with options and things that that they can look for. You know, it might be something that just works better for you. So first things first, property management. And just also to let you know, this is something I've done. I've done all of these. Everything I'm going to talk about, I've done it before. So this is not me just trying to make it up and, you know, not have the experience. I've experienced all these different ways to make money. But dealing with a property manager, it can be great. There are great relationships. You know, when I did it, it was at the wrong time. It was early on in my business, and sometimes you're gonna have to wait for the money. I just didn't know that beforehand. They didn't tell me that. So I finished up all the work, and I'm having to use the deposit to buy stuff because I didn't realize to ask for certain things up front. So I'm buying vanities and things on just out of my pocket, essentially, or out of the deposit. And the company I worked for, you know, the property owner pays you, not the property management company. So you kind of got to wait. And they usually, a lot of times, they like to take it out of the rent. And I did it in like the middle of the month. I had no idea that I was going to have to wait another, 2 or 3 weeks to get paid. But it's just those things you need to know ahead of time. But I've heard a lot of people have great relationships with property managers, and it is steady workflow, especially if they have a lot of properties. You know, you'll have steady work. So it's definitely a good way to get in. Next, I'm gonna go with commercial properties. There are a lot of companies out there that hire handymen to do work at commercial properties. Everything from AT&T store to, I used to do Walgreens, man. I worked for a contracting company that got a contract for doing all the Walgreens stores, and every time they would just call me with a work order, and half the stuff was pretty simple fixes. It just didn't work out for me, only because I couldn't focus on that. And there's a lot of Walgreens, so they were always calling me with work orders, and I had to choose either between going that route or, you know, working with my own customers. But if you're okay with their system and the way they work as far as providing work orders and how you got to go through them to get paid, I mean, it was decent money. So commercial work, it can be beneficial. There's builders, of course, but you got to make sure a lot of times you're dealing with builders, just like anybody else. Anytime you're a subcontractor, when they call you, they need to have the work done. So they don't really have the time to wait, or, you know, if you got your own customers to serve, they don't have time for that. If you go down the subcontractor route, just understand that you are expected to be, I don't want to say you're on call, but you are, you know, expected to show up in a very reasonable amount of time to get that work done that they need. Working as a subcontractor definitely has its benefits because you don't have to market. You don't have to go out there and bring customers in. It'd be hard for me to put all my eggs in one basket, maybe with one builder or something like that. It had to be a super special relationship. Restoration companies, they're pretty good. You know, in my experiences dealing with them, you know, they've gone in and they've fixed a major problem, which was normally if there was a fire, if there was a lot of water damage, excessive water damage, they've gone in and mitigated that. And in the end, they might call me for something small, like, you know, fixing the drywall, painting, and then whatever trim needs to be replaced. Last but not least, warranty companies. A lot of people don't really think about this for a handyman or this type of profession, but yes, I work with warranty companies, and I do have appliance repair as a part of my handyman business, but I also do warranty companies. You got to think about it. They have a leak somewhere in the house. The warranty company gets a plumber to come out and fix it. Well, plumbers don't fix drywall. You also have a lot of handymen who've been an HVAC guy or maybe have a plumbing background, and, you know, you can of course get warranty work with them as well. So yeah, I do warranty work all the time. And like I said, it's not just for appliances or things like that. A lot of times, actually most of the time I do warranty work is for drywall repair, and I love it. So things to take into consideration. I know there's other subcontractor work out there, so hey, if you do something that I didn't mention as far as subcontracting, or, you know, you have another way that you know to make money, hey, leave it in the comments. I just like people to be armed with as much information as possible before it gets started, just because it would have just shortened up my timeline of being able to, make my business successful if I had a little more information. All right, so other than that, hey, I need you to like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe to get some more of this work. Handyman 2.0. We're gonna keep it going. Screen enclosure's all finished. Check it out. One thing about a screen enclosure is like it should be tight, no wrinkles. So when you tap the screen, it should be nice and tight. So, hey, check this video out in the corner. Stay safe and be blessed.